So easily, one of my favorite characters of the Star Wars universe is definitely Ahsoka Tano. And one of the things that made it so fascinating, especially in the series, is they actually had a flashback with a younger version of Ahsoka and Anakin in the Clone Wars. Now, not only was it a cool reminder of what these two had gone through fighting alongside each other in the Clone Wars as Master and Padawan, but it also gave some emotional gravitas to the character of Ahsoka Tano and what she had gone through, experiencing what battle was like as essentially a child, a Padawan. Now, I absolutely love the animated version of the Clone Wars and then the CGI version of it, but I've always been fascinated and wanted to see on big screen, in real life and live action, some of the things that happened in the Clone Wars, and I'm still very curious about what that would look like. Fortunately, Ahsoka Episode 5 gave us a very quick glimpse of what that would be realized, and I think it was absolutely fascinating. It was cool to see Hayden Christensen reprise his role as Anakin Skywalker, and I think the dialogue between these two characters were not only very heartfelt, but I think were pretty much, like very necessary, I think, for the legacy of the prequels, and then of course what Disney is trying to explore with the series, and I think it worked very well. It was pretty awesome to see. I was really excited about this figure when I saw the concepts, and I'm glad to have it in the studio to review it. So today we're going to be reviewing Hot Toys version of Ahsoka Tano, the Padawan version from the live action version, so to speak, of Ahsoka Season 2 Episode 5. This is the 1/6 scale figure. Let's take a closer look. So immediately when I took this out of the packaging, I was very excited because this is a perfect recreation of Ariana Greenblatt, the actress who plays the Padawan version of Ahsoka, and this is a beautiful head sculpt. Now, I will say there was a bit of a QC issue with the eyeballs because it does have the PERS system. One of the eyes actually popped out, and I was able to pop it back in, but just know that I don't know if this is affecting all of them, but it did affect mine. Now, this is a perfect recreation. I love the head sculpt. The countenance in the face is great. Again, the skin tones are always done very well, and it just, look at how ornate this is. They perfectly recreated that. The eyes, although one of them popped out, look really beautiful. The face markings are great. The garb is perfectly done. This is a great head sculpt. Just, let me know if you have QC issues like I did. Now, the midsection and upper torso of this piece is very spectacular. Again, the color palettes are done very well. The rouges offset against the grays are done amazingly. I like this Padawan uniform. Interestingly, this is a full rubber bodysuit and it breathes very well. It's very flexible. Interesting, they didn't cheap out on this in terms of the materials. The bands around her arms are done very well and they're individual. The sculpt in the gauntlets are also pretty spectacular at this scale. The midsection is done very well in terms of the overall textures and the design of the actual costume. There is this nice felt to it, offset against the leather. And of course, that buckle is really spectacular, really a focal point. Along with the sash, look at how ornate that is. Overall, this is very well done, and I like the overall outcome. Now, I really like the materials that they used with this lower section. The reason is they use the lycra spandex material, which allows it to move and breathe. And if you're going to put it in dynamic poses like I have it, there's no kind of danger of cracking or even if the material is going to rip. Now, the boots are incredibly malleable, and I like what they did. The finishes are done very well. This looks like actual leather. It doesn't look like leather, so they didn't cheap out here. And again, the combination of the materials and the rubber body suit really allows a lot of flexibility and malleability, so I think that's really cool. Now, I would say definitely mirror this piece. Just because of the headdress that she has, there's a lot of detail on the reverse side, which looks really cool. Now, the color palettes are done well. The white offset against that like robin's egg blue looks really good. A lot of detail there. And of course, the chain that she has on the reverse side looks really freaking awesome. A lot of detail there at this scale. She is attached by a waist grabber. No real fan service to speak of. It is Ahsoka. I mean, she's a child. Let's not get creepy, guys. And you see how she actually attaches to the base. Really cool. I like what they overall did here. And the boots are also really well done. You see how malleable they are. So definitely mirror this piece. I think it's worth it and it looks really nice overall. Now, she does come with her lightsaber. This is one of my favorite forms of the lightsaber, or the versions of it. There's a nice high polished finish on the hilt and the handle. Also, I have to say, she holds it very well. And the lightsaber, I don't know, this is a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. It's almost the entire length of the actual figure. It's obviously in that green. It does have the light effect, I just didn't use it this time. You know, I gotta start using the wedges at some point. Again, she's a lot shorter, so that may be why it's almost the length of the entire figure. Now, of course, Star Wars figures are using the slabs. This one does have the desert motif. I can't remember what campaign they were on in the actual Clone Wars where they meet up in episode 5, but this thing looks really great. The desert motif looks fantastic. On the lip of the base it does read Star Wars, and then of course the name of the figure, Ahsoka Tano. It's got that wedge, kind of like silver plate, looks really nice. Like I said, if it's not broken you don't have to fix it. Overall I just like it. Now, these are 2 accessories, and this figure admittedly does not have too many accessories. It does come with the wedge, which I never actually use. And then of course it does have the light up feature. Interestingly, it does come with the goggles that we see in the show. I think she has them on at some point, but the dust cover or the dust goggles are there. Not a big accessory. This one is not accessory heavy, but you know what I mean. It doesn't really need to be. She's in the episode for not too long, but it is impactful. And of course, rounding out the last bit of accessories are 4 additional hands for various poses. And you're going to want to go crazy with this one because of the elasticity of the overall rubber body suit, given the textures of the materials. It really is malleable, and you don't have to worry about cracking as much as other figures, which are very restrictive. Also, her overall costume allows her to move and breathe and just get really dynamic. So I think that's really cool that we have that option, because there's a lot of mobility. You know, Ahsoka's very nimble. Now, given the fact that she is a little bit light on accessories, I'm not necessarily categorizing this as a holy grail piece, but man, listen, this is going to be a very, very scarce, unique figure because she only comes out in Season 2, Episode 5, at least this version of her. So, I would say, and maybe I have to invent a different category for this, but this is for the hardcore Star Wars fans, especially if you're fans of Ahsoka. You definitely need to have this in your collection. That's my category. This one is definitely, you need to have it if you are a hardcore Star Wars fan. And again, because she only comes out so briefly, this one is going to be ultra rare. If for no other reason than that live action interaction that she has, which was monumental, by the way. Definitely pick this one up. Alright everybody, so that's my official review of Hot Toys version of Ahsoka Tano, the Padawan version, the 1/6 scale figure. As always, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next Route Deza Reviews. May the Force be with you.